What's happening, everyone? My name is Mike Lavelle. I'm joined by George Adamu, as well as Rob Andrews from Hospital for Special Surgery. And today we are going to discuss health, gaming, maybe what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. That's why we have Rob. Please help us because my back hurts, my shoulders are stiff. I know, George, I don't want you to grow into the future me. And I felt like we should start with just kind of opening the conversation. Well, what do professional gamers or guys that are content creators within the gaming scene, what's our day-to-day? How are we training? Because everything's really mental for the most part instead of physical, and it's trying to have that balance. And I'm going to start off with you, George, because I know that you're balancing being a collegiate athlete, and then obviously you had an injury. You went more so into the gaming, but you're now back playing sports heavily as well.
Yeah, so I'm trying to find the right balance right now. I try to go out and get probably like 2 to 3 runs in a week, and I still don't think that's enough for me. I'm sitting down on my chair for maybe 8 hours. I'm streaming at least 5-6 hours a day, and then I'm going to school, and then I'm sitting on another chair for another 3 hours a day. So I just feel like I don't get that many steps in or even any physical exercise at all, which is obviously not good for my age. And I used to have a very nice body. I can't say that anymore.
I wanted to start out with this, Rob, just so you understand kind of like what our routine looks like from the gaming end. And mine's pretty similar to George. I mean, I'm obviously watching what I'm eating. I'm doing some stretching here and there. I try to go to the gym or do push-ups and body weight stuff. But he's right. We're sitting here playing games right now. This is our prime time season with FIFA 21 just coming out. And I mean, I'm here 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours a day, a bunch of screens. We're sitting down. What can we do? Are there any maybe shortcuts? Are there any ways that we can try to at least maximize our time to be more efficient, to maybe improve our posture, to make sure that we don't start slumping, or just in general to get our physical activity right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, one being alone is just the positioning that you're in when you are gaming. You can kind of like optimize the position that you're in, the way you're sitting, to make sure that you're not getting, you're not putting your body in a bad position that's going to lead to, worsening of your posture, or more like, you just say, I don't want to say deteriorating is the right word, but those kind of negative effects of your body. But as far as like your actual routine and what you guys are doing, while real soccer players might be a little bit more driving towards their power or their speed and agility training. I mean, for you guys, it's a lot of kind of postural work, a lot of core stabilization stuff as well, and a lot of stretching. So as far as one in particular, a lot of times we get kind of caught in this, like you were saying, your slouched position, rounded shoulders, forward neck, forward head position. So one of the things we want to do is kind of reverse that a little bit, where we are making sure that we're kind of stretching out this front side, our chest a little bit. So whether that's going up to a doorway, kind of stretching out our pecs this way, really to help open all this up so our shoulders can, have the opportunity to stay in a more of a, backwards position here, not getting stuck here. Other stretches we can do, even while you're gaming. I mean, in between games or every, hour or so, stretching out your upper traps a little bit, some neck stretches. There's an exercise called chin tucks where, essentially what you're trying to do is give yourself a double chin, but also trying to get taller at the same time. So the idea there is that you're kind of strengthening some of these muscles in the front and stretching out the back so that, again, you're not getting stuck, in this position here. You're kind of, in a better position.
I can just see our streams making fun of us in the middle of the stream trying to.
I think we'll never understand.
I actually have a question on this too, because sometimes I've tried to walk and have my hands behind my back, and I feel like it helps, but I don't know that it actually does. So I would love a professional opinion there, just because I'm making a habit that I feel like at least having my shoulders kicked back a little farther.
It's not. I mean, that's not a bad a bad move at all. But I would still say actually stretching out, because even when you bring your shoulders back, I mean, when your arms are behind your body, your shoulders are still going to come forward a little bit. So while you're right, you're putting yourself in a little better position. You're not fully stretching all this out. So again, you want to kind of get a more of a formal stretch there, and then also do some exercises to strengthen up the back of your shoulders and your back. Whether that's you could take bands, or if you're at the gym, a cable column, and doing some rows. You can take a band. I'll kind of show you quick, and keep your elbows at your side. separating that band, kind of pulling apart and squeezing your shoulder blades back, because that strengthening of your back side is really what's going to be kind of, holding yourself in a better position there, in a better posture.
Rob, I'm going to put you on the spot. I want you to evaluate George and I's chairs, because that's the big thing people bring up then with our posture and with our backs are the chairs. George, would you like to start, or you want me to go?
I was actually going to ask you, because as you guys can see, my chair over here, I don't even have I can't rest my neck.
Yeah, let me see what we got.
I'm constantly just leaning forward, because even when I lean back, my head's not getting any rest. So I want you to tell me. I'm guessing you're going to tell me that I have a horrible chair.
Evaluate our chairs, please.
I'm waiting for that.
George, you're up. Give them the full chair view.
Terrible. No. You want a chair that's going to cover your whole back, right? You want to have something that can be firm, where you're not reclining every time you lean back, because you do want to have this, upright posture while you're playing. But some of the big things that you want in your chair is a little bit of a lumbar support and a little bit of like a neck support also. In our spine, right, we have this kind of natural curvature where our low back and our neck essentially kind of curves forward a little bit. So a lot of times, and not even just when we're gaming, but if we're sitting on the couch, if we're sitting anywhere, we tend to kind of slouch. We kind of roll our hips back, we slouch back, we round our whole back out. And that's where a lot of these problems come from. So for you guys who are sitting for a long period of time, you need to make sure that you're kind of reversing that a little bit. So a little bit of a lumbar support, which a lot of chairs have kind of built into them already. If you don't have one, what you can do is simply just take a towel, kind of roll it up, and you can just kind of stick it back there in your low back. And that'll kind of give you a little bit of support, or a little bit of a reminder to kind of sit upright a little bit more. Something else that I think we look for in a lot of these, these gamer chairs in particular, with that lumbar support, a lot of times you can kind of adjust the back of it, adjust that lumbar support so you can make it higher or lower. And you can also adjust the armrests as well. With the armrests, you want to make sure that they're low enough that your shoulders can kind of relax down and you're not sitting there with your shoulders shrugged up the whole time. You want them to be low enough that your shoulders can relax, your elbows are bent to about 90 degrees, and you can kind of maintain that, backward shoulder position a little bit.
So what I'm hearing is both of our chairs fail, is what I heard from that, George.
Yeah.
We have bad chairs. I've got to ask you another follow-up on this as well, because everybody keeps bringing up, well, is your chair ergonomic? And it almost sounds, for us, it sounds like I'm going out for a restaurant, and they're like, hey, would you like some guac with that? I'm like, I don't really know if it's ergonomic or not. What does that mean, and why is that so important? Why do they keep stressing this with the people that are obviously spending a lot of time in front of screens?
So, ergonomics really is kind of how you design or how you arrange your workplace or your gaming station that best fits you, your needs, and your body. So again, for you people who are sitting, if they have desk jobs or if they're playing games all day, you want to make sure that your body is in as good of a position as it can for a long period of time. So you want to make sure that these chairs aren't facilitating these poor postures that eventually over time are going to, kind of cause breakdown or cause pain or cause injury. So what I mean by that is the chair promoting a good position for you, a good posture, that's allowing you to kind of optimize, your function while you're playing these games.
I've got to follow up to that as I do. This is George. Feel free, please, to say, Mike, shut up. And I want to ask questions as well. I'm just firing away right now. 21 questions. So all right. So let's take a step forward. Then we're saying, hey, Rob, you could make the ultimate gaming setup. George and I obviously have significantly different setups actually with how we've aligned everything in our office. What would be best? And I don't know if this goes from monitors to desks, because I've seen some people that are playing at a competitive level even do a standing desk or the desks that move. I've never used one of those personally. I'm not really sure. Obviously, our chairs are bad news. That's all I heard from this. But give us like the rundown of what we're supposed to have. What would be the most ideal, at least for them, from a health perspective here, both short term, mid-term, long term?
Sure. So I think standing desks are great. I don't know a whole lot about gaming with them. I think it'll be hard to stand for a long periods of time, but I do think at least mixing that in is a great option. But as far as your actual setup with the chair, Some of the things I just mentioned with how your chair should be set up. But as far as your screens, you want the top of your screen to be lined up to your eye level. And the idea, or even a little bit below possibly, the idea there is that you're not, looking up the whole time, because that's where you start to get a little bit more stress in the neck and you run into some problems over time. So you want the screen to be really, kind of directly in front of you, if not a little bit lower. I know a lot of gamers will use more than one monitor or more than one screen. If that's the case, if you have a primary screen that you're looking at most of the time, that's going to be the one that's right in front of you, whereas the other one's going to be kind of right next to it on the side. If you do use both monitors kind of equally, like 50-50, you want them to be both right in front of you, but you're going to be right in the middle of them. So you have them both right here. And the idea is that, I don't have to change my head position to look at these screens, or minimally change my head position. We don't want to be going back and forth like this for, 5-10 hours a day. The ideal, situation is we're right here, we're looking. I can see my, my entire screen in my field of vision, and I'm not, right in front of the screen. You want to be, I think the general kind of rule of thumb is you're about an arm's length away from the screen.
That was my next thing. Okay.
Yeah, that was my question.
Well, all right, go ahead. Sorry. Yes, we're listening, Rob. We're taking notes here.
Yeah, 2.5 to 3.5 feet away, I think would be, and that there's a little, that can vary for the individual, for the type of screen you're using too. If you're using your, the 50-inch TV screen that's in your living room, you might not want to be 2.5 feet away from it. Maybe like 3 to 5 or even further, but that would be my ideal setup there.
It's funny that you mentioned that. It's kind of like when we're winning, we're doing it correctly with the length, but when we're losing, it starts to go like this until we're at the top of the monitor.
Your eyes are glued. The more you get into the game, the closer you get to the screen, and it's horrible. It's horrible.
George was playing this event. I think it's the second EMLS League Series event, and he wasn't having a great event. And he at one point I thought he was going to headbutt the screen. He had gotten so close to it because he was getting mad. And I was like, "This kid's not the way. No, stop it. Take a time out. Let's go for a chat."
A break. I needed to take a walk because my eyes were like hallucinating after staring at the screen for that closely for so long.
That's probably one of the biggest complaints you guys have, I would imagine, right? Is the the strain.
Eye drops. I'm on it. Yeah, please. If we could save my eyes, that'd be great. I had LASIK like a year ago, and after that, I think I eye drop while playing video games at least once an hour. Yeah,
and that is the most common injury or complaint is eye fatigue or eye straining. So I think one of the things for that is they call it the 20-20-20 rule or method, where every 20 minutes or so, you're taking your eyes off your screen, looking at something that's about, 20 feet away or so, and just kind of keying in on that for like 20 seconds, just to give your eyes a little bit of a break, because there are, some detrimental effects that these screens, have on our eyes, especially when looking at them for too long.
I've seen throughout the years that there's been different glasses that have been introduced, but I've never really used them myself. Is there a certain type of, I don't know if it's like a certain shade or something along those lines that's better if you're going to look at screens for a long time, whether it was sending emails, playing video games, whatever it might be. But because I know I've seen it come and go, kind of. It was like a trend for a little while in gaming, and then it's kind of disappeared. Like I think George probably agrees. When's the last time you saw somebody wearing eye gear, George, on like a live stream?
Never.
But do you remember it used to be a thing?
Yeah, back then it used to be a thing, but now it's just, I don't know.
I don't know if it actually worked then, because it went away. It was really popular, Rob, for maybe, man, if you go back 5 years ago, it was really popular between all the streamers. Everybody had different eye gear on that they were using in order to the goal was to keep what you had. You weren't going to have your eyes not depreciate on you, and you were able to also not have that strain. But I'm not sure what happened here, because I that went the opposite direction.
Yeah, I don't know what the research shows about them. I don't know. I know what they are. I know that the idea of the point of them was to kind of make you see less blue light, which essentially in these LED screens that we all use, you know, all day long, there's kind of a high emission of blue light, which is really just kind of the, you know, the wavelength, right, of the colors that we're seeing. So what some research has showed is that too much of that blue light is detrimental, you know, not just to our eyes. It can cause some, you know, damage to our eyes, but even like the amount of, you know, melatonin that we typically produce ourselves. So basically that gets kind of diminished or suppressed a little bit. So maybe we don't sleep as well, and it just changes some certain, you know, aspects of our body and our hormone levels as well. So, you know, I know the idea behind it was that you're decreasing the amount of light, that blue light that you're getting, but you know, again, I don't know really what happened to it, what the research was showing about it or not.
I'm not sure either. That's why I came your way with the question. But I like that you brought up also kind of replenishing or rejuvenating. And I know that we've also talked a lot about not just strain and things that are physical, but is there also habits that we should be making as well? Because I feel like with gaming in particular, it's really easy to make bad habits. And I'm very guilty of this because you get so caught up. You've got a ton of people watching you. You're super appreciative of your audience. You don't want to get offline. And you're like, I don't want to even go get water. I don't want to hydrate. I'm in the zone. And it's almost fake energy sometimes because you're so in the game, you're so focused on everything that's happening, and you're almost riding a buzz, especially if you have that adrenaline push. If it's a really close game or you're winning a lot, or the people are just supporting you, they get you kind of hyped.
Yeah. You know, I think that's a little challenging in your case when people are watching you and whatnot. I think from my side, you know, I would say, you know, every hour or so, you want to get up, you want to walk around, do a couple stretches, give yourself a break. You know, make sure you're still eating a meal, like you're not just like snacking all day, you know, things like that. But again, I know that could be hard when you do have people watching you, and it's hard to take a break sometimes. But, you know, I think from my side, again, get up every hour or so, move around, stretch, kind of reverse some of those changes that, you know, your body just made in those, you know, being in a certain posture for a long period of time. As far as like, you know, rejuvenating and replenishing, you know, keep water on deck, keep water next to you so you don't have to get up. As far as snacking, I mean, I'm going to obviously say go for the more, you know, the healthier options. You know, you don't want to make sure that you're not eating chips and, you know, all the salt and fat all day. You know, healthier options like, you know, mixed nuts with dried fruit, things like that, frozen grapes. You know, maybe what else?
George, what you know about those frozen grapes, brother?
Oh, I love grapes. Grapes, frozen watermelon, all the good stuff. Anything frozen is good for me.
What have you been eating on stream, George? Tell us what you've been eating.
Oh, look, I feel embarrassed. I feel embarrassed eating on stream because I feel like people don't. I just feel like if someone's eating in front of me, I wouldn't like it when I'm on a broadcast. So I don't eat at all. I sip water, but that's just about it. I've never eaten on stream to this day.
How long are you broadcasting for?
About 4 or 5 hours. And then once I finish, then it's 11, 12 a.m. actually. And I'm eating a whole meal, which I know it's not good to be eating after even like 8 p.m. So everything sticks to my stomach, which again is not good.
Yeah, actually, I'd love tips for that because I have the same issue. So what I'll do on stream is I take a bathroom break and I put like a bathroom slide up. So like I'm not there, but people all know that I'll be back. And I might try to like throw something in my mouth, which is not good either. Like behind the scenes, and I come back so I don't have to eat in front of them. Because I try not to have a bunch of snack food because like one, that makes them hungry. Two, over a microphone, it's like crunching. I just feel like they don't want that in their ears. But yeah, how do I not eat later at night? Because when I get off, I'm like George. I just put in a shift. I was like, I earned something to eat. I want a snack. I gotta eat. Something has to happen here. I've been trying to figure out what I can have. Like I had tuna last night, which is like as low calorie I think as it gets probably for a late night snack. But I need something like actually sustainable. I don't want just some chips or popcorn or whatever it might be. Not that those are the best options, or even mixed nuts. I want something that has like a little flavor to really kick back.
I mean, another one I would say would be like beef jerky or something like that. Something that has a little bit of protein in it. It's kind of easy to eat. It's not, you know, not necessarily loud. Not, you know, but yeah, no. I mean, I think that's tough. I think I think part of it is just discipline. I think you got to make sure that you're eating your meals throughout the day. You're getting all your nutrients and everything out throughout the day. This way, hopefully you're not as hungry later on late at night.
No, George is still gonna be hungry. I was waiting for your response, George.
I'm young. You know how I eat, so you know I enjoy my food.
So, in recap, a lot of our discussion was obviously around the chairs, and I think all of us, like gamers, are set to have the worst posture known to man. I'll tell you that right now, because I've been trying to push my shoulders down for years now, because I could just tell, like, you start doing this, which you were talking about earlier on. So I thought we'd recap with kind of on our way out here what we should change about our chairs right now. So what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think from a back perspective, like this looks okay, support-wise looks okay. These go up and down, but I need more height, right? Because I have no neck support currently in my setup. Is there anything else that you would change about this type of chair? And then we'll do George's as well, because I think it's a good send-off as an example as to what we're doing wrong, basically.
Yeah, I think I can't see as far as the lumbar support, but I think that's something to note also is you want a little something there, again, to kind of take up the space that your low back should have between your back and the back of the chair. And even like the height of your chair also. Again, I can't see if you were sitting there, you'd want your knees to be about level with your hips. You don't want
this is just lower than to give you an idea.
So you don't want your knees to be above your hips. All right. So you want them to be pretty much level, if not even a little bit below your hips. And you want to make sure that your feet are, flat against the ground also. But I think the big thing for your chair is something a little bit higher up.
Yeah, I think I need a little more height for sure. Okay, so that's my improvement. George, you're up. Give them back to the display. This is the way that we're sending it. We got to fix our chairs, man, ASAP.
Look, again, we have the same thing, same issue. The only thing, this is like a 2014, 13 chair. It doesn't go up, down. It doesn't go sideways. Classic chair, so
yes.
It does touch. I do touch my feet, but everything else, I could already feel like my neck just like cramping while I stream. I definitely need something. Probably.
I think you need something so you can kind of lean back a little bit and not be up at your chair the whole time.
Yeah.
Then your shoulders, you're gonna shrug up, your head, everything's gonna come forward. So I think for your chair, you need something a little bit more. Again, the lumbar support. And something that's going to keep you kind of sitting upright where you can actually relax your back against the back of that chair.
Is there a specific model of anything that we should be looking into for chairs? Like, hey, these are 5 that are really amazing, or these are 3 that are amazing. Can we get like Rob's guide to fixing your incorrect gaming posture?
So I know 2 chairs that have been recommended. I know one is called the something Racer, which I've heard good things about.
VX Racer?
I think it's called the Cougar.
Cougar?
Yeah, Cougar. I think that's supposed to be one of the more ergonomic chairs, good lumbar support, good neck support. Those are 2 of the ones I know. I don't know a whole lot, different models at least.
I'm pulling these up here. George, we're going to have to make an investment in chairs ASAP, other Rob's not going to be happy with us.
These can get expensive, these chairs.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. You're talking... The X Racer is going to run you $300. A Courage racing chair is looking a little bit more reasonable, but it depends on the model you go with. So anywhere from $150 to all the way up to like $500-$600.
There's some that are over $1,000. Some of these chairs.
But it's almost like a bed to a certain degree, right? Because you're spending so much time in it.
You're right. I mean, yeah. I think I think it's a good investment. Overall, if you're going to be in this 5-10 hours a day, I'm not saying spend $1,000, but you want to get something that's going to fit you, it's going to work for you.
Oh, perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate your guidance. Sounds like there's some things George and I are doing correct, and then there's other ones that I think we kind of knew we weren't doing the best at. But we really appreciate you spending some time with us and giving us some tips. Is there anything you want to add, George?
No, again, just wanted to say thank you again, taking your time out, come and talk to us about this.
Yeah, no, appreciate you guys having me.
No, always look forward to it. Big shout out to HSS, of course. Thank you, everyone that's involved, and we're going to fix our backs ASAP. Later.
All right.